Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hi there, this is Your Stocks. I'm Manglamalu. With me, Sumera Abdi, the show where we answer all your queries. As we speak, the Nifty is at the high, it's at a record high, but not quite at the high point of the day. The last bit of smidge coming in from Maruti, which is at the low point of the day. A couple of stocks which are losing steam as we speak. We have the likes of Vedanta as well as Grasim as well. And HDFC Bank itself has come a little off the high point of the day. The big story of the last 15-20 minutes odd is, however, been the Lupin results, which were a miss, and that stock is sitting at the low point of the day. But to answer all your queries, we have Mayuresh Joshi and Rajat Bose. So let's take it first to our our first query. We have Anjali Patil writing to us from Mumbai, holds about 1,000 shares of NMDC at 137 rupees for the last 2.5 years. Long-term investor, wants to know whether to hold or sell. A view on NMDC, Mayuresh, what would you say? The volumes came by earlier in today's trading session, and they didn't seem to be very good.
Yes, Mangalam, afternoon. And again, I think the lumpy nature in terms of reported volumes is something that has played out on the stock price. But a large element is in terms of the expectations of volume growth going forward. So even if one presumes the sales volume to grow between 8 and 9 odd percent, they're looking at volumes of 40 million tons for 19, maybe 41 million tons for FY20. And they've recently hiked prices both for lumps as well as fines. So I think that incrementally will add on to the EBITDA and the reported EBITDA per ton. Again, their mine life and the integration that they're doing, I think that should also abet the strong earnings growth that the company has. And again, I think the sweetener is obviously the dividend yield that it gives out. So I think it might be lumpy for a few more quarters, but as things start stabilizing in terms of volume growth, getting reflected in terms of the margins and the bottom line, I think the earnings estimates should also improve for the stock. So clear hold from my side.
All right, so a hold on NMDC. Up next, we have Mr. Ravindra Pongshe, who's called in from Mumbai, and his query is on Lupin. Hi, sir. How can we help you?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Tell us.
See, I want to ask whether the bad days for pharmaceutical shares are over, or should I buy more and make average, or should I sell it now?
Okay, well, you've called on the day that Lupin has just announced its quarterly earnings. And, well, I'd hate to, sort of be very blunt, but it's not looking good. So, Mayuresh, once again, this is a query that's heading your way. Mr. Pongshe, for now, seems to be making a profit in Lupin, but he wants to know how long the tough times will last. I mean, the management itself has said that FY19 is just a year of consolidation, so not a lot of growth there. So, should he just take his money and perhaps put it to work elsewhere?
I think, Sumera, afternoon again. I think if it's a strategy which is probably looking at having a few pharma stocks as a defensive play within his overall portfolio, I think Lupin has disappointed in terms of reported numbers which just came through. So I think the competition in terms of US pricing, the competition in methargine, the competition that they witnessed in Glumets and Fortimet continued in terms of the revenue growth. The margins again were disappointing. So I think the management commentary in terms of what actually disappointed on the EBITDA front, it will be very, very interesting. But again, I think they've got a very strong pipeline, Sumera. So I think the pipeline that they've got and the Solosec ramp up, along with the Enbrel biosimilar, which they are working on with Mylan, I think that should probably have a huge earnings potential from the next financial year. So yes, I think this year probably will be a consolidation as the management had put forth. But any updates in terms of even the Goa and Indore plants over the next few quarters can have significant earnings traction because of the strong A&D and the FTS that they probably possess. So if the investor probably has a longer view and the patience to hold on, I think he should hold on to this.
All right, hold on if you have the patience, and he has got it at a lower price, currently sitting with a gain of around 42,000 rupees on this one. That's about Lupin, down about 5% from today's high. Taking a cue from that, actually, Cipla too has slipped a bit, reports its results today, and we have a caller, incidentally, has investments in Cipla. Mr. Ravi Kokate calls us from Mumbai. Ravi, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, I have almost 100 shares of Cipla, means purchased at a price of 214 rupees, and I wish to know whether I should still continue hold or sell and invest that profit to like stocks like HDFC, AMC, or with like DMart, as I'm sitting on a good the profit as of now.
All right, so you're sitting on a good profit. You want to know whether you want to hold it or perhaps put it in other stocks. Let's go across to Rajat actually. Cipla's results are due, so let's get a chart check on that one. Rajat, a view on Cipla, and I'll take forward the previous viewer's question as well. Have pharmaceutical stocks bottomed out? Both of them seem to be making some bit of money, but do you think it's enough for them to remove that money and put it to work elsewhere?
I would say that pharmaceutical stocks won't revisit their earlier lows. I mean, the lows of around 510 or so for Cipla is not really likely, or for that matter, Lupin is not going to fall below 800. That's what I tend to think. And for Lupin, I would say that around 880, its 200-day exponential moving average is located. Unless that is taken out decisively, this kind of whipsaws and say disappointments, and then it will come down. That will continue to happen, and immediately, if it stays below 849, then you can expect that Lupin may actually test 820 to about 810. So my suggestion for the earlier caller would be that you put a stop loss below 800 on closing price basis and continue to carry on. And for this caller who is actually making a query on Cipla, I would say that 579 is 200-day moving average, and I would say that it would be better that if you continue to hold on, because it is in a consolidation mode, Cipla, and it's not, and especially the rider that he added, that whether to jump onto HDFC, AMC or DMart, both the stocks are, from a valuation point of view, I would say that they are pretty much expensive, and there is too much of positive exuberance going on there. Instead of that, if he is patient enough, Cipla, Lupin kind of stocks would be giving good returns over a period of time, because pharmaceuticals happen to be the only sector that is showing long-term bottoming out formation.
All right, well, the market is taking a bit of a knock, so now the lead on the Nifty is narrowed down to just about 0.25%, and that's not even the worst hit. Look at the mid-cap index that has moved into the red, and over the last few minutes, there has been a very, very sharp fall in the mid-cap index. In fact, pull up some of the mid-cap stocks as well. So a lot of these pharma names, say Divi's, etc., are now hurting. Other than that, there's also the likes of PTC, REC, which were anyways having a tough session. So those stocks are now seeing incremental losses. HDIL, Ujjivan. So a lot of these names actually are now seeing incremental pain. But we'll take a very quick break, come back in a bit. Do remember, tomorrow is our mutual fund corner at 2 p.m. where we'll be answering all your mutual fund related queries. So if you have any questions to pose for our experts, mail them to us, and lots more stock queries lined up on the other side. Stay tuned.
Just a few moments ago, we got numbers coming in from Greenply Industries, and along with the weakness in the mid-cap index, we saw some weakness on that stock as well. The intraday chart should come up for you. The stock has fallen about 7% from the high point of the day, and that's because those numbers aren't looking too good. The revenues grew 2%. There was an estimate on the street of a decline of 1.1%, but despite the revenue growth of 2%, the EBITDA has actually fallen by 18%, and the net profit has fallen by about 22% at 23 crores. Compare this with Century Plyboards, which reported their numbers. Their volume growth came in at 8%. So we will await volume growth, but seems like the volumes for their plywood business haven't been too much. And add to that, the MDF margins, they've come off. There was a buzz on the street of MDF competitive pressures coming in and taking away margins. So the medium density fiberboard has seen an EBIT decline from all the way up to 30 crores is declined to 16 crores, and that is what explains the pressure on their margins and the fact that the stock is lower. So that's Lupin for you. Meanwhile, we have Ms. Rukmini Rathore writing to us from Jaipur, holds about 26,000 shares of Future Consumer at 65 rupees for the last 1 year, wants to know the future for Future Consumer. Well, Mayuresh, this company continues to make losses on the bottom line. Today, the numbers for Future Consumer did come by. She's making a bit of a loss. 65 rupees is her purchase price, which was perhaps the high that we saw in the stock in the recent times. Currently trading at 50 rupees. What is your outlook for Future Consumer going forward?
So Mangalam, again, I think the losses that they've posted, I think, is more or less because of what happens in terms of the lower margin fruits and vegetable business, for example. So I've not gone into the details of numbers, but a large element in terms of how their revenues have probably grown over the past few years, and the expectations of a revenue CAGR in excess of 35-36% odd. I think that itself should ensure that the top line is probably far more secure. When you're talking about the margins, they had reported an EBITDA margin of 1.8% for FY18. So any improvement on that front will clearly play out on the bottom line and get the company out of losses that it posts. But again, I think the view again has to be a little bit more futuristic for a future consumer. So if the investor has a patience over the next 2 to 3 years with the expectations that they might probably start reporting profits, I think then you're probably looking at the price earnings growth to come back to the stock.
All right, gentlemen, thanks very much for your view on stocks this afternoon. We'll wrap up on the show with the news that the mid-cap index is slipping, but we'll leave it to closing bell to take the market action forward. Thanks for watching.